We're going to look at the overall markets here. So we're going to do a little market review. But basically, what happened today is in pre-market, you had a nice recovery from yesterday's close. So we're back at all-time highs yet again in pre-market in here overnight. And then as we got closer to market open, it kept on slipping. And then we were sitting right around that 684, 685 range for quite a while. And then at the end of the day, just decided to dump everything into the big earnings report of Apple and Amazon. Obviously, after hours, Amazon and Apple killed it. And then that's why you had that little run up here in aftermarket. So we're sitting right around 684 once more. So what's in store for us tomorrow? Obviously, it looks like everything is getting ready to gap up going into tomorrow, but how much and how quickly are we going to get a run up in here, or are we going to stay range bound right around those 684, 685s again? Well, we're going to look at the overall markets here and see if anything really sticks out to us in here, or are we just going to notice that everything's kind of trading normal and we have a healthy market? That is kind of what we're looking at when we're dissecting all these different ticker symbols and trying to make our own narrative for ourselves as we are looking at the overall markets in here. So you can see on the weekly chart in here, we're right up against this upper trend line that's currently trading, sitting at like 684. That's what we're going to be against here in after hours. You can see that at 4 o'clock, we were trading at 679.83. Anything below the 680s, we're looking down here at that 673, then 674 to the upside. Obviously, it's 684. Then above there, we're back at all-time highs again. We can go to the Qs here on the NASDAQ and see exactly how we're trading in here. More or less same exact chart as S&P. That's kind of what you're always going to get. We're looking up here at 637 for our resistance. Really 630 is going to be a psych level for us in here. And then on the downside, you're looking right around that 616 and then this 9-day EMA that's trading at 600. Now, if we go into our gold here, we're going to see a little bit of a different story because you did have that pullback in here over the past couple weeks. So little indecision so far on the week. We obviously it's a breakout in here for about 4 weeks ago. Little indecision on this week so far. Resistance is going to be up here at 373. Below there, you're right around this upper trend line, which is going to be trading at 365. So it looks like the market's going up, gold going down. That is always good. We're going to check our VIX real quick before we check our bonds in here. We should have looked at our VIX first before gold, but really nothing too crazy in here on the week. Obviously, volatility kicking in. That's kind of what all the options have told us so far. Having trouble here with this 9-day EMA that's currently trading at 1737. But other than that, still overall high. I mean, a low 16, 15, 17 VIX is normal nowadays, right? You're not going to get those 10 to 12 or even the 9 VIXs anymore. 15 is basically normal for us in here now. So a little bit more of a pullback in here wouldn't surprise me as we work our way into tomorrow's trading session and then going into next week. But all in all, it looks like we struggle with that 9-day EMA in here on the week. And it looks like a little bit of volatility kicked in for us today, but we still ended down here red below 17. So last but not least, we're going to look at our bonds in here. We're going to see how we're trading and what's the correlation between the bonds and the overall market and the VIX. That is, it looks like we got the VIX going up, bonds and gold going down, market going up. And we obviously had a pullback in here today. That's why you had that green VIX on the week so far. But all in all, it looks like a relatively healthy market. Nothing too crazy in here. Not necessarily any outlier moves are sticking out to us right now, but we could see more of a downside in the SPY. I know we have a lot of things that we need to fill on the charts in here. I know 679 obviously was a big level for us in here, but we could get a bounce and a contraction of that VIX and a more of a pullback here in TLT to this 9-day EMA sitting at 890 or 89.90 first before we get a pullback in the overall markets. But it looks like right now, the way everything is trading in after hours, we're going to have a gap up as we go into tomorrow, perhaps a nice little green day, just playing off that Apple and Amazon earnings. Then everybody's forward looking to next week. We're looking at AMD. We're looking at our chips. We're looking at all the other big guys that are reporting next week. But overall, you have the TLT in here pulling back. 89.90 is going to be our next support in here. You got your markets going up. You have a green VIX on the week, although we did get a little pickup in here in the VIX today. And then your gold as well has been contracting and pulling back in the past 3 days or 3 weeks, that is. So all in all, it looks like we're trading exactly where we should. No crazy outlier moves. aren't, or it looks like there's no crazy outlier moves being priced in just yet. Once we start seeing a high VIX and a high TLT with the overall markets, then that's when we got to start being concerned, or at least be aware that something could happen in here. But all in all, it looks like everything is pretty good. So we're going to see what happens in the overall markets. Right now, everybody's pricing in right around a $4 expected move by tomorrow's expiration. That's on the spiders. And if you go into next Monday, right around a $6 expected move. So we'll see what happens with the overall market. Right now, it looks like we're getting a little gap up, probably contraction in your VIX tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens towards the end of the day, see if we're going to dump it into the weekend, or we're just going to keep on running this thing up. And then everybody's forward looking, trying to price everything for earnings. That's kind of the question as we're going into this weekend. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our details in the description below.